Hi doctors, this is a great case to show an example of how much overjet we want when we're starting off with a deep bite case, as well as changing some attachments and deciding when or not to rotate a premolar. So the initial case has most of the teeth moving, has the upper molars distalizing, which is not a predictable movement, and a lot of premolar rotations. And it has the upper centrals intruding, but no bite ramps and no additional anterior retention to help with that intrusion force. So we've made a lot of those changes, as you can see on the right hand side. No molar movement, just really smooth upper anterior intrusion with the optimized lateral support attachments, and then corrected most of the premolar rotations where you can see that we're just simply expanding out. Now the lower lingual canine attachments for intrusion were not planned perfectly here, but they'll be sufficient for what we need to achieve with this case because we have the other really nice buccal attachments that we always want to use. What I want to focus on here is the upper rotation. So the initial ClinCheck had number 12 rotating and correcting the rotation movement. Well, because of this, the ClinCheck was forced to find some space elsewhere. So when this premolar is rotated, it takes up less room in the arch. Therefore, the anterior segment becomes so much closer to the lower anterior that you would have to either leave space on the upper or do more lower IPR. The other problem with this is that finishing with this amount of overjet, or this lack of overjet, this is so tight, starting with a deep bite case. So you're expecting all the upper and lower anterior to intrude and then finishing so tightly close next to each other. This is the algorithm or the initial align setup that looks really perfect on a ClinCheck, but this is guaranteed to finish with an anterior interference and a posterior open bite. One, from not using bite ramps, but two, because this lower intrusion is likely to not execute all the way. Some of it, but maybe not all of it. Now the buccal movement is very easy to execute, so these teeth will certainly move from the lingual to the buccal, but if they don't intrude completely, then they are going to be hitting quite hard up against, clicking all the wrong things, quite hard up against these upper anterior teeth, causing a interference and a posterior open bite. So what I've done here is not rotated this premolar so that it occupies more space within the arch. Then we don't have to leave any other spaces, nor do we have to do additional IPR. And this is a very nice, predictable overjet starting from a deep bite case where clinically these teeth are going to come buccal as we expect, but they may not intrude completely. So if this case is likely to finish with a little bit more overbite clinically than we see on the ClinCheck, and therefore the patient will have a really nice final occlusion setup.